Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Web3 Fellowship Incubator information session. We're going to be talking about this new exciting partnership with the NEAR Foundation, talking about this upcoming Web3 Build Hackathon that we have coming up. Just going to give it a few minutes for folks to get themselves settled. If you're joining us right now, let us know where you're joining us from, where you're tuning in. We'd be curious to hear all about that. Just give everyone a few minutes to join. But yeah, how is everybody doing? Where's everyone tuning in from? We've got folks from North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America. Anything is possible. Wonderful. Just give it another few minutes and then we'll jump straight in to tell you all about this exciting Web3 Fellowship Incubator information session. We've got Asia, someone tuning in from Asia. Very cool. Whereabouts in Asia? Which country? Someone tuning in from Egypt. Very, very cool. Someone else from Asia. Nice. Anyone from Europe? I'm from Europe, so maybe that ticks that box. Someone from India. Very, very cool. Very cool. Nice. Looks like people have turned up now. Didn't want to jump in case you missed any important information. However, without doubt, let's jump straight into it. So welcome to the Web3 Fellowship Incubator information session. Now, you may have heard of the MLH Fellowship and you may have heard of some of the hackathons that we do, but what is this sort of combination that we may be talking about? So today we're going to tell you a little bit about the Web3 Build Hackathon, as well as the Web3 Incubator and what that means together. We're going to talk a little bit about NEAR, our partner that is going to help make this all possible today. And they're going to talk a little bit about what is NEAR, how do you use NEAR, and give us a quick demo on what it's all about. And then at the end, there'll be a fantastic opportunity for you all to ask questions about the program. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer all of them and, hopefully see you there in just a couple of weeks. So what is this program? Why does it exist? Now, let's say you have some of that kind of entrepreneurial taste, you're interested in building your own thing, you've got some product ideas and you want to turn those into a reality, then an incubator is the best place for you. And that's what we're doing here. Now, this fellowship incubator will be happening over the summer, from middle of July to the end of September. And the way that you get into it is by attending our Build Hackathon and building a project that is successful. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this Build Hackathon? What do I got to do there? Now, the Web3 Build Hackathon is going to take place on June 30th to July 2nd. So just in 2 weeks' time, just under, in fact. And this is a Web3 hackathon where we're going to be looking to see all of the cool things you can build with NEAR. Now, this can, like I said, take place in just 2 weeks. We're excited to see what you build on NEAR and the blockchain operating system. More from NEAR on that shortly, because I imagine if you've heard about it, let us know. If you haven't, also let us know. I'd be curious to know if people have heard of it, if they haven't. So yeah, there'll be a really cool opportunity to bring your Web3 ideas to life. Maybe you haven't used Web3 before, so this is a great chance to get stuck in, maybe learn something new as well. Winning teams from this will get the opportunity to join us for this fellowship incubator. So a lot of you, I know you're interested in the fellowship, maybe you've applied, maybe you've done it before. Now, this is a new fellowship program. We've not done this before, and it's a little different to some of our other programs in the sense that you go through this hackathon as part of the admissions process. And you get a load of support and helping take your project into reality over those 3 months. So yeah, that's kind of an idea of like the hackathon. And the key thing is, don't worry if you don't know anything about Web3. Don't worry if you don't know anything about NEAR. We're going to teach you all of that as part of it. Everyone's got to start somewhere, and this is no better, there's not a better opportunity for jumping straight into that stuff right away. Now, at the hackathon, there's a few kind of ways that you can stand out with your project. Obviously, real world use cases is a big one. With Web3, like some of you may know, it can be a bit challenging to always wrap your head around how it can be useful. And so can you build some cool projects that really help others understand how Web3 can be used? Web 2.5. You've probably heard of Web 2, which is what we've traditionally used. And Web 3, this new and upcoming concept. Web 2.5 helps bridge the two together. Maybe you can help bridge the two a little bit closer and allow people to move from 2 to 3. And then lastly, all the hype at the moment, AI. How can you use Web3 and Near and AI at the same time? So a few interesting things here. Really excited to see what you all do there. Now, to give you a quick idea of what to expect from this weekend, the opening ceremony will be taking place on the Friday, and we'll also be hearing from Near as well, where they'll be sharing all sorts of cool information. And directly after that, we'll be jumping straight into a workshop on how to build with Near, because how do you do a hackathon in Near if you don't know how to use it? So there'll be a great opportunity to learn all about it and learn how to get involved. And then on Saturday, we're going to do a workshop on, I've labeled it idea to product, but the idea is that this will teach you all of those useful skills that you need to turn something into reality beyond just the technical, right? We've all written code before, right? But how do you then turn it into something that other people want to use? How do you market it? How do you turn that into something that's interesting? So that will be really valuable as well. And then on Sunday, we'll go through judging with the Near team, where they'll be reviewing your projects and having a look to see all the cool stuff you built. And that's where we're going to decide who will be making it into the Fellowship Incubator. Who's interested for this? I'd be curious to know all about that. Now, on top of getting an invitation to that hackathon, we also have a number of incredible incentives as well. So if you are successful as part of that fellowship, as you may know, we have a stipend. There will be a $3,000 stipend for each fellowship participant. So there will be an opportunity to, have that stipend to help support you during that 12-week program as well. On top of that, you'll get $12,000 in Horizon credit per team. And I'm going to let the Near team talk a little bit more about that once we get to what is Near. And on top of that, this is the best bit, right? You get to talk, you get to do some demo days with some of the Near VC network. So not only are you going to be doing demos of your project, you get to do it to a proper audience, an experience that you don't often get the opportunity to do. And then like a real nice kind of sweet thing on the end there as well is you'll get tickets to NearCon as well as some sweet swag, which I've heard is very, very cool. Stay tuned for some sneak peeks of that in the future. So you've won the hack. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Wow, it is pretty exciting. So you definitely don't want to miss out. Now, if you are successful and you make it into this Web3 incubator, I've mentioned it a few times, but what does this actually mean? This will take place just a week after the hackathon, and it'll be 20 hours a week of your time, as well as stand-ups on Wednesdays and Fridays, as well as a retro on Monday. So pretty similar format to the fellowship that you may know as well. And you'll be doing demos each month. And this is a great opportunity to take your project you did at the hackathon and keep building on it, evolve it into a proper product. Because we all know hackathon projects are scrappy. They have a lot of corners cut. They barely hold themselves together. This is a chance to then take that and turn it into a real product. And you'll get the support from Near as well, from both a product and technical mentorship perspective. So really, really valuable. And then at the end, you get that opportunity to then showcase your project and pitch it at the demo day. So super, super exciting. So that is all from me on this kind of, what to expect from the program. Ken from the Near team is going to join us in a second to talk all about what is Near and hopefully give us a little bit more insight into how you can get started with Near at the hackathon. Ken, are you ready to join us? Give me a thumbs up if you are ready. Wonderful. Welcome, Ken. I'm going to put your slides up as well. And I'll hand it over to you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Near.
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Will. So, hey, everyone, super excited to, meet you all and present what we're doing here today. My name is Ken Miyachi. I'm Tech Lead Program Manager for the Near Horizon team. I've been at Near about a year, worked in a wide variety of roles, but, we're trying something new with this hackathon and fellowship program, but we think it's super, super exciting and really excited to see what you all build. I want this to be a really interactive session. So, as questions or comments come up, definitely please feel free to, write it in the comment section and we'll try to address all your questions or inquiries throughout the entire session. So without further ado, we'll get started. So what we're going to go over today is just a general info session on the Near times Major League Hacking Build Hackathon. So it's happening June 30th to July 2nd, which is, kicking off not this upcoming Friday, but the next. So it's coming up soon, and we're really excited to kick that off. So I'm going to start with a general, like, why is Near, and go over a lot of information here about just the general Near blockchain. A lot of these slides, you'll receive them after this presentation. They're for reference, but it's going to be a lot of information, so don't feel free like you need to kind of consume and understand everything fully right now. But we'll definitely be going over this in the future as well. So to start off, Near has a global footprint. We have regional hubs in Korea, India, Vietnam, Kenya, the US, Balkans, and then we're very active in a lot of other regions such as Mexico, Canada, Brazil, Portugal, etc. Kind of some brief numbers. Some of the great components about Near is that it has extremely fast TPS, which is transactions per second. It can process over 100,000 transactions per second, 1 to 2 second finality, and it does this via a sharded architecture, meaning that it splits up the different transactions, which allows the blockchain to process very quickly with a fast finality. There's over 25 million plus accounts, 250 million plus transactions total. And from the recent developer report released by Electric Capital, we have over 2,000 active developers, 1,000 projects, and 700 plus DAOs active on the ecosystem. So some things that make Near unique to other like, blockchain ecosystems is a couple different things. The first one that really sticks out is a flexible account model. Account abstraction was built into Near from the very beginning. You have human readable addresses and a Web2 style onboarding and backup method. This also enables very easy onboarding where you don't have to have multiple fees, and you can actually sign up with just an email without a complex 12-seed passphrase to remember and recover your account by. The last two is it's very developer friendly. We support both Rust and JavaScript with a WASM runtime, as well as EVM compatibility. So this really enables whatever programming language you're comfortable with, you're able to use it and able to create applications on whatever you're familiar with. On top of that, if you create an application, 30% of the gas fees go back to the smart contract that is generating those fees, which creates a great developer incentive for anyone building on Near. And last but not least, like I touched on this before, but really this kind of best-in-class scalability. Being able to process 100,000 TPS is much better than some of the more popular traditional blockchains that really have a tough time breaking 15 to 20. Going into this a little bit more. So on Ethereum, you'll have this long hexadecimal string, which is your account address. At Near, you have a very human readable address that is your how you both send and receive Near and other transactions. So for me, I'd have Ken.Near. Another really amazing component is that you can have multiple different keys per your account. This enables different access models and allows you to perform a bunch of different functionality that is not possible with a traditional one account, one key model like other blockchain ecosystems. And lastly, there's namespaces. So if I have Ken.Near or Alice.Near, then I can have sub-accounts of, sailgp.ken.near, which allows for applications to create multiple different sub-accounts in their domain, kind of like how URLs do the same thing today. Touching on the seamless user experience. With this access key model, you're able to have specific keys for specific different functionalities. Let's say I wanted to give another user access to only perform certain actions for me. Let's say I wanted to give read access to a specific entity to read certain data that I had on myself. I could do that with still ensuring complete security and complete security of all the other information associated with my wallet. And then the walletless onboarding is a really big one. It's a hot topic all over Web3 right now. But being able to onboard with traditional Web2 means is a huge unlock to bring on users to your applications. We've developed something recently called FastOff, and it's as simple as typing in your near address, pressing claim an account, and then you'll have an account created for you that you're able to interact on chain. This is a big improvement over developing a Chrome extension, 12-word passphrase, setting up an RPC endpoint, and then finally being able to receive your account. Something that we've developed over the past 2 years is really this kind of robust, developer-friendly ecosystem. So a lot of amazing dev tools, including a wide variety of CLIs, both Rust and JavaScript. JavaScript is the most popular programming language in the world, and you're able to develop the entire application on a JavaScript stack with Near. And then we also support Solidity and any EVM compatible language via our EVM2 or EVM compatible framework called Aurora. I definitely highly recommend check out the docs examples. There's a lot of really good educational content out there that is on the Near blockchain. So just a quick comparison with some other kind of proof of stake L1, L2 blockchains. I think Near is highly competitive in all the major categories that developers and users really care about: TPS finality, transaction price, EVM compatibility, and language support. Another great component here is that we were the first certified carbon neutral blockchain by South Pole in 2021. We actively monitor this. We take into account everything from our plane rides to the computers, and we have a carbon neutral footprint totality as the Near ecosystem. And then a lot of really different great infrastructure that allows for connectivity and full functionality beyond just the Near blockchain. So Aurora, as I mentioned before, is the EVM compatible smart contract that's on Near, and it kind of shows how powerful the Near blockchain is. The Near developers were able to build an entire EVM virtual machine as a smart contract on the Near blockchain. Octopus is a decentralized app chain, which is our approach to kind of IBC compatibility. Rainbow Bridge is a trustless and permissionless bridge to Ethereum. And to this day, it still has never been exploited or hacked. And Calamero is a private shard infrastructure built on Near. So any kind of use case for private data, really extremely high transaction throughput, and enhanced security, Calamero is a really good option there. More infrastructure here in terms of fiat on-ramps, custody, exchanges, data and analytics tools. A lot of infrastructure has been gone in to build out the Near ecosystem. So whatever application you build, you'll have the necessary tools and integrations needed to gain users and build out the vision of your application. So before I go into some of the great use cases on Near, I was wondering if we could address were there any questions? I'll look through the chat real quick.
We had a few questions pop up, but let me see if I can find. I think all of them were hackathon related, so I think we're all good for now. But if you do have any questions, like Ken said, drop them in the Twitch chat. We'll keep an eye on them. We can tag them, so we'll get to them at the Q&A bit. So if you do have any questions, let us know, and we can jump in.
Okay, no worries. Sounds good. So, okay, going into some of the powerful use cases that are currently already built on Near right now. Kind of the first is Sweatcoin. This is a move to earn app which tracks your daily steps that you can spend on, a variety of projects. You can donate it to charity, or you can convert it into Sweatcoins, which you can trade on decentralized or centralized exchanges. This is a perfect example of Web 2.5. Sweatcoin started as a traditional Web 2 kind of move to earn app where you were earning kind of virtual Web 2 based tokens and being able to spend it on different products. They converted and switched to Web3, and now you're earning Sweat tokens. which are on the Near blockchain, and you can not only exchange it, but still spend it on products how it was traditionally used. Over 120 million users, 17 million plus wallets created, and a lot of different partnerships with very top-notch industry partners. So Play Ember is a really great mobile gaming platform built on Near. They focus on kind of not only infrastructure, but actual games itself. They have over 5 million active users on their kind of traditional gaming platform, and they're actively right now transitioning over to the Web3 side of things. They have really amazing kind of passive gaming solutions that have a lot of great conversion from Web2 to Web3. And why they really chose Near is because of the easy onboarding and the wallet solution that allow their current users that they currently have on their Web2 platform to transition into Web3. SailGP, this is a super exciting one. So Near has partnered with SailGP and Oracle for a partnership for a kind of fan engagement application, which is the first of its kind. What augments this, or what kind of is bred by this, is it's going to be the first sports, like high-level sports, DAO-governed sports team. This will be launching next year, but essentially out of all the sailboats that are racing against each other, you can think of Formula One, but for like racing sailboats. And so one of the boats, which is associated with a country, will be completely governed by a DAO. So all the decisions from the team boat colors to the diet that the sailors have to abide by will be chosen by a DAO. Really excited about this to launch in this upcoming SailGP season. Few and Far is one of the top NFT platforms built on Near. They really focus on the UX, super clean onboarding platform, right? Easy email sign up. There's no MetaMask. There's a great white glove launchpad. So if you are launching an NFT product, they work with you very closely to do, marketing and amplification to really make sure that your launch goes well. And there's a specific focus that they have, which aligns with SailGP, as well as Play Ember, which is on sports, fandom, and gaming. KeyPalm. So KeyPalm is a link drop platform that's built on Near, which is essentially the first use case is target at zero friction onboarding. So the idea is that instead of a traditional sign-up methodology, you can send a user a link, and it can be pre-populated with either an NFT, any type of token, etc. And then the account is automatically created for you, really making the onboard experience much more seamless. They're kind of advancing into ticketing, into something called trial accounts, which is where you get an account, kind of a temporary Near account, which you can interact with only certain applications, which is another great, onboarding experience for first-time users. Calamera, I touched on this briefly, but it really enhances both the performance and privacy of applications that are built on the Near blockchain. As you know, a lot of these fully public blockchains, just as Near, the data is, completely public. So you could either, obfuscate it by encrypting it, or you could use a solution like Calamera to store it on a private shard while still having interaction with the mainnet Near blockchain. So now I'm going to go into what is the blockchain operating system. The acronym for it is the BOSS. Near is the BOSS. So, right, the idea behind the blockchain operating system is a full technology stack for the open web. The idea is to, create fully decentralized and distributed apps all on the Near blockchain that is also completely interoperable with any other layer 1 or layer 2 blockchain. So you can sign up here, but I'll leave that towards the end. So why did we build, what is the reason for the blockchain operating system? Why do we need the boss? There's a couple different things. So kind of Web3 set out to solve some of the problems with Web2, talking about the censorship of front ends, right? User retention, lack of data ownership, lack of privacy, and operational complexity, having to set up your own AWS instances and your own servers to properly deploy and maintain your application. Now, the problems with Web3 that, we've tried to solve the problems with Web2, but then Web3 comes with its own set of problems. Some of them are fragmentation. There's all these different chains. What chains do you choose? Discoverability, there's all this information all over the Web3 landscape, and sometimes it's difficult to find exactly what you're looking for. This leads into a difficulty with choosing a multi-chain environment. That's a huge design decision that kind of isn't apparent in Web2. You just use the internet. And then the re-engagement piece as well. So oftentimes you're creating a wallet, you're doing a first interaction, but how can you keep a user engaged in your application long term? And so the problems that both of them have that we're trying to solve are for onboarding, distribution, compliance, lower the complexity to build, and then infrastructure management and cross-platform support. So the idea behind building the boss was to solve all these problems in a single technology stack that will allow for fully decentralized and distributed applications. So I'm going to go through the pain points really quick, but high level, it is the developer experience is difficult. The market access is segmented into, not only into the conversion of Web2 to Web3 users, but it's difficult to track the user acquisition funnel. The cost of acquisition is usually super, super high. How do you, do a targeted marketing campaign and make sure that you're getting high conversion if you're doing it on Twitter or a traditional Web2 platform, but you're trying to people to sign up on a Web3 platform? And then, censorship resistant. I think, there's been a lot of news in kind of current events recently about regulation, and it's a highly discussed topic. Customer retention is just huge for any type of application or startup trying to build, User acquisition is key, but what's really going to sustain your product is customer retention. And then that leads into revenue. How do you create a sustainable business model in a Web3 environment where, especially without the NFT kind of secondary royalty fees coming into effect? So introducing, the blockchain operating system, which is this common layer for browsing and discovery of the open web, all built on the BOSS. So to give a brief overview about what the blockchain operating system, some of the terms that we use, the blockchain operating system is the full stack. So at the bottom layer, you have blockchains, You can think of Near, Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, etc. Any kind of core blockchain is in that layer. The middleware right here is the kind of dev tooling, data analytics, RPC nodes, which are used to communicate directly with the blockchain to user interfaces. Interfaces are kind of what you see on a web page. If you visit OpenSea or Uniswap, that's what you can think of as front-end interfaces. And then onboarding is kind of the wallet creation and authentication. If you're in the Ethereum ecosystem, different infrastructure that you can think of that the onboarding is Web3 Connect, Wallet Connect, MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, etc. So going into a little more details. So right before the blockchain operating system, Near was most of this tech stack, specifically the blockchain and the data platforms and aggregation tools. So Near already had the blockchain and smart contract layer and the data platform and aggregation tooling layer. What the blockchain operating system added was this idea behind gateways and decentralized and composable front ends. What this allows is for interaction not only with the Near blockchain specifically, but any other layer 1 blockchain as well, while also being deployed in a decentralized manner. So not completely reliant on AWS or Versal or any other kind of hosting platform that could be shut down at any given time. And so the idea of turning kind of Near into the boss stack was to create these fully decentralized applications that are also multi-chain and compatible across different L1 ecosystems without traditional bridging, which kind of over the course of the past 2 years has been highlighted as a security risk. So kind of what is the boss good for? What is it not good for? So what we really think the vision of it is a low-cost unified developer experience. You'll see there's a sandbox that is deployed on the blockchain operating system. And the idea is that you can develop all your applications, in JavaScript in a single language, in a single place that is fully decentralized and very, very easy to use. It really increases your user acquisition with a simple onboarding experience and also enhances the discovery of your applications. You can kind of think of the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store, but fully decentralized as kind of one of the goals and visions of the blockchain operating system. And then because of this amazing discoverability, the idea is a really amazing way of a go-to-market strategy. Launch on the kind of the boss, the Near.org marketplace, increase your discoverability, get these earlier like beta testers for your application, and iterate on your product to continue to make it better. Talking about this kind of full stack. So the middleware is already, like, the core infrastructure is already built out for you, but the idea is that in your browser, you're able to develop your front-end application and your smart contracts, and then you're able to kind of create a full stack application all on the blockchain operating system to not only develop, test, and deploy not only your smart contracts, but your front ends as well. And I'll provide a brief demo of that in a little bit. So this is a great visual of the onboarding experience. So if you see, you click, I'll have it walk through this again. But all you have to do is, put in your email address, scan your biometrics. There'll be an email recovery for multi-party computation. It won't actually store your email. It will store this in different shards so that your email will never be able to be exposed in any way. And then once you verify your email is associated with your biometric key, you're able to sign in and you have an account. We think this is significantly better than any other onboarding experience that we've seen throughout the kind of the Web3 environment. Kind of just some more stats on the boss. There's over 130 applications built, 4,500 components, and then a lot of the projects being built on the boss. Mintbase is another NFT platform, which kind of directly built their marketplace into a front-end component. You can list your NFTs and it'll show you the NFTs that you have. KeyPalm is an example of a project that has a kind of traditional application that you can generate link drops, but they also created a boss component for enhanced discoverability. Near tasks is an amazing way for users to increase engagement on their product initially. What you can do is you can essentially create any type of small tasks that you want users to do on your application, and then pay them out for performing that activity. So you can think of, right, a social shout out, you know, running through a certain workflow that you want user feedback on and providing that feedback, kind of anything that you can think of for user testing, or anything else that you can use with near tasks. Pikes Peak, they built out a really amazing analytics platform that you can use to analyze not only specific smart contracts, but kind of the entire near ecosystem landscape. And Harmonic Guild is a kind of a music platform, but they created a really cool way where you can mint an NFT. And I think what they're going to be working on is, hey, upload your audio file, mint your song, be able to sell it on the blockchain operating system. So now I'm going to go into some, I know that was a lot of information. Definitely let me know if you have any questions. I'm now going to go into some demos if there's anything else. So let's see. I'm seeing a couple of the questions, and let me know if I missed anything. So what is something you really wish to see on the Near blockchain? So there's a lot of different things there. I think what Will touched on before is, right, a lot of these different use cases about, right, real world use cases in terms of fan loyalty, tokenization of real world assets, kind of basically tangible things in the Web2 or kind of traditional business space that you can kind of integrate into Web3, I think would be super powerful. And the Web 2.5 side, I think there's a lot of really interesting use cases that have a strong pivot into Web3. One project that we're super excited about is called Stiglo, and they are like an internet provider. And basically what they want to do is they set up basically satellites at different houses throughout South America, and their pivot, their Web 2.5 use case is to provide tokens to the users who buy the satellites, who can distribute those tokens in exchange to distribute their Wi-Fi access to kind of their neighbors. So that's like another strong use case. And there's a lot of really strong use cases we think that are around AI. One of them is model verification. So you're going to have all these open source models and models from different places, but being able to determine that, like, hey, an answer actually came from ChatGPT-4 as opposed to another model, I think is a really strong use case, especially as these become more prevalent in our lives. How can I participate in the SailGP DAO? We can send a link after, but I believe applications are open to participate. But I believe, the season's already underway. It kind of is rolling, but definitely they're trying to. They would love participation there. How is it different than Hyperledger Fabric? So Hyperledger Fabric, right, is kind of basically I think it's very different than kind of traditional public blockchains. I would say it's more of a private network blockchain solution. The primary use case around that has traditionally been like supply chain management. I think there are some correlations that you could have to Calimero, where, hey, it's a private network. There's permissioned access to not only being like a node validator, but also sometimes read and write access to the network. You can set that up in Calimero, but Near blockchain is fundamentally different. It's a public blockchain. The tech stack is like a Rust and Wasm based chain, and I think like the consensus and like runtime are pretty significantly different. But Fabric, yeah, super interesting project. Yeah, Near definitely has a lot of repositories that you can start exploring, so definitely would recommend doing that. Um, let's see. In terms of fellowship, I'll defer to Will for that, but I don't see any issue in um,
Yeah,
doing
so
multiple fellowships.
for the fellowship bit, if you've already done an MLH fellowship before, you are still welcome to do this one. This is, completely independent. Yeah, so if you've done one before, doesn't matter if you have or you haven't, you can still absolutely do this program.
And so for the tutorials, like, yes, there's a lot of great tutorials on Near. That's how I got started in the Near ecosystem. But if you go to these quick start documents,
I don't suppose you could zoom in a little bit.
yeah, let me.
Perfect.
So there's this whole section about popular examples, creating a guest book, a donation service, and then even getting into some of the more advanced features such as cross-contract calls, creating a contracts factory, upgrading and migrating your contract, etc. But I think this is a really great place to start. I personally really like this crossword puzzle. At one point it was called like Zero to Hero, but basically you create a crossword puzzle, a game on Near. I thought that was really great.
Cool.
Robotics or space startups. I mean, that would be super interesting. Personally, I think I'm really interested in both of those fields in general. I would be super interested to see, I think, like, right, any emerging technology that you can think of that has, you can find like, IoT devices and blockchain, right? I think would be super, super interesting. So that sounds really interesting. We'll definitely follow up with Web3 fellowship information, and for languages it supports, currently JavaScript, Rust, and then any EVM compatible language. So the most popular one is Solidity, are the 3 languages that it supports. Okay, so now I'm gonna zoom in even more. So I'm gonna go into, I think, something that, kind of show don't tell, basically how one would build on the boss. So this is a component, I actually didn't build it, but it kind of shows the EVM compatibility here, and it highlights some of the really amazing functionality of the boss, which is you can have an interface that interacts with both the Near blockchain and any other blockchain in a single view. So this is actually this is an application, a component that actually only interacts with the Ethereum blockchain, but it's a very simple ERC20 sender. To look at the source code here, right? If you look at this, this is like, right, it's kind of going into a basically, it's a React style framework application. If any of you are front-end developers out there, I'll try to zoom in even more. But basically, you connect to ethers. You write a variety of functions that are basically very traditional in the Ethereum space from like an ethers.js standpoint that allow you to send tokens to a different address. So this is a decent amount of code. If I were to guess, maybe it's around 200-ish lines of code. So this code snippet is all stored on the Near blockchain, and it's stored actually in a smart contract. And when you store it, you name your widget. So the author of this was Zavadil.near, his widget, and then he called it ERC20 sender. So kind of highlighting the increased velocity in which you can build on the boss, I created this this component, which is a combination of his ERC20 sender and a ref swap, which is basically the Uniswap of the Near blockchain, but it's a DEX that they created a component as well. And to show you kind of how simple it was, all I had to do was copy and paste the path to his widget and specify, hey, put his widget in my page, as well as the ref finance widget. In 2 lines of code, I had all the functionality of this 200 lines of code that Zavadil built, and then as well as the ref 20 swap. And so you're able in this one page to not only swap near on ref, but you're able to send Ethereum on the ETH chain. And you can actually, because it has compatibility with all the EVM, you can go through all the test nets, Aurora, which is, Near's EVM compatible network, Polygon, ZK Sync, Finance, etc. But there's a lot of really powerful use cases that you can create by having a single interface that can interact with different chains without bridging. And because of all the amazing kind of components that are already built, you can very easily mix and match components, modify a little bit of the CSS so that it matches the style of your page, and then be able to kind of build on top of kind of all the great components and applications that others have built in the past, which makes it, a super, super powerful solution. And so with here, you're able to see in the development environment, what you're able to do here is this is a copy of the previous component that I showed, but all in the browser, you can modify this code, you can render a preview, and then you can publish as well, and you can save versions as well. So it's a complete decentralized developer environment. There's a VS Code extension, there's a variety of CLI tools to help out your development as well. But these are really, really powerful development tools that, as I stated before, kind of help build out the full stack and can really, improve the velocity and discoverability of your applications. So that's kind of all I had for the demo, but would love to talk about any questions if anyone has any other ones.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ken. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to bring Jared and Rosendo in as well to help answer all your questions. So like Ken said, if you have any questions about Near, the hackathon, the fellowship, anything that we've discussed today, drop those down in the Twitch chat and we'll go through them the best we can. Ken's already gone through a good chunk of them. But I'm just going to bring up a few questions and throw them to the audience we have here. Someone asks, does it integrate easily with Flutter? I believe, Ken, you were saying it doesn't really, or does it? Maybe you could share some light on that.
Yeah, so I'm actually not super familiar with Flutter. I've seen integrations with Webflow and some other, like website code base builders, but I would have to get back to you on Flutter specifically.
So potentially not ruled out completely. And you definitely support JS and Rust for your SDKs. Yes, wonderful. Someone asks, do you support Golang? I assume in any sort of form. I assume no.
So not for, I believe there is some Golang-based APIs to communicate with the chain. But in terms of building your smart contract, there's no Golang support for writing smart contract code.
Hopefully that answers your question. Question for Rosendo. Is the hackathon capped to 4 people? I believe it is. Can you confirm?
Yeah, I mean, we want you to all obviously have the best teams possible. But yes, we would like you to cap it to 4 people because we will have obviously the fellowship component involved at a later point in time. And, those are going to be really tight spots. So yeah, up to 4 people would be optimal and also within the rules of the hackathon itself.
Perfect. Someone asks, is there an opportunity to form a team before the hackathon? We will be running a team building session during the hackathon, if I'm not mistaken. So don't worry about making one beforehand. But if you do want to make one beforehand, you can go and chat in the MLH Discord server. I can see in the Twitch chat, some of you have been actually deciding teams while we've been chatting, which is really cool to see. But yeah, you can chat with the community, or you can wait until that team formation session as well. What other questions are we getting? Someone says they're jamming to the music. I appreciate that. Is there a Discord server dedicated to this, which will help us form a team? Rosendo, would you like to add some info here?
Absolutely. Yeah. So after this call and like in the lead up to the hackathon itself, we will have a Discord server set up for y'all to jump on and essentially learn more about the hackathon and get set up with your team. And we'll also be helping you to do a team building, team formation session as well. So, stay in tune for that. But obviously, if you have a team in mind, definitely drive them towards registration and make sure that they join us for the hackathon as well.
Very, very cool. Someone asks, how many spots are there on the incubator? About 3 to 4 teams. So not too many. So you definitely want to make sure you get your projects nicely done during the hackathon to increase your chances. Which transitions us lovely onto the next question, which is how easy would it be for beginners? Maybe Gerald or Ken, you can give us some info on how easy it is to get started with NEAR.
I think definitely beginners are welcome. I think we want to. I would recommend definitely try to collaborate and learn from other hackathon participants. But I think hackathons are some of the best way to get introduced to new technology or Web3 in general to kind of dive right in. But we have a lot of kind of beginner documentation, just complete targeted for that specifically. But definitely. Think it would be a great opportunity for beginners.
Perfect. And that also goes into this other question someone asked, am I qualified to participate? Absolutely. Everyone is welcome to come along and give it a go. So if you want to have a go and learn a bit, give it a go. Someone asks this, which goes nicely into the things I said about standing out. Maybe Ken or Jared, you could talk a little bit more about the 3 sort of themes that we discussed earlier, the real world use cases, Web 2.5 and AI.
Happy to jump in here. This is a great question. As Will mentioned, those are 3 themes that we're really excited about. Of course, you can build whatever you are inspired to build. We are not limiting anyone, but these are some of the emerging use cases that we are really looking for folks to build at the edges and really brainstorm and ideate around the intersection of Web3 and AI. What are some of the emerging problems that exist around verification? What are some of the emerging opportunities that exist in this realm of Web 2.5 or engaging with an end user that doesn't even know they're engaging with blockchain? And what are some of the more historical traditional markets, whether it is the entertainment industry, sports, you name it, that could be tokenized or value could be captured leveraging Web3 tech. That's how we think about real world use cases, Web 2.5 and this intersection of Web3 and AI. So take that in any direction you like, but very excited about these three themes.
Awesome. And that's the thing, right? We're being vague on purpose. We want to see what you come up with. So let your imaginations go crazy. Brainstorm, discuss, have a thing coming up to the hackathon, what you want to do. Plenty of opportunities. Someone has asked, where do I sign up? I'm going to post it into the chat right now. You can sign up on Organizer HQ. You can see it right here. That is the link there. So you should be able to just click on that in the chat and sign up. We've already got loads of people signed up, so super excited to see all of you there. Wei has jumped in and asked a pretty good question, which is, are there any age or location eligibility requirements to take part? You have to be over 18, but location-wise, wherever, it's my understanding. Rosendo, is that correct?
Great question. Anyone is welcome. This is a global event, obviously. It's held digitally, so wherever you are in the world, you'll be welcome to participate.
Wonderful. So yes, and that does include the fellowship portion as well. I know some of you there who are not based in North America haven't been able to get into some of our programs like production engineering in the past as we've been growing that, but this program is open to everyone. So hoping to see lots of people from all over the world there. We've just got a few minutes. I believe Gerald has to drop now, so really appreciate you joining us, Gerald. Really do. And we'll see him hopefully at the hackathon. But if you do have any other questions in the last few minutes, do just give us, drop them down in the chat and we'll go through them. Way's asked another question, which is, what is the difference between a Web3 apps hackathon and the Web3 build hackathon? They are on the same weekend. One of them is just a hosted by MLH Hackathon. The Web3 Build Hackathon, though, that one is all about the fellowship. That's the one that lets you get into the incubator as well, and is a bit longer over the weekend. So that's the key difference there. One of them is your standard hosted by MLH event. The other one here is the Incubator Hackathon. Hopefully that answers the question there.
To answer the second part of that question, if cross submissions are allowed, no, they are not allowed. The Near Hackathon will be like essentially closed submissions, and you will have to use obviously Near technology there. So that won't be a featured prize category at the Web3 Apps Hackathon. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Someone asked, how desirable is a two-person team? From my perspective, when I used to go to hackathons, I managed to do like some really cool stuff with just two people. Sometimes it makes it easier because there's only two people to think about. You haven't got to try and divide things up between four. So if you've only got one person you want to do it with, that should be absolutely fine. But you could do up to four people. Someone asked, will we be able to rewatch today's session in case we missed it? Absolutely. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you head over to the Major League Hacking YouTube channel, you'll be able to find a recording there as soon as this ends. So in case you missed it, you can go back as well. If you want to rewatch bits of certain questions we answered, you can go back and find it all there. Wonderful. Final call for any other questions. And here you can find the YouTube channel. It's just Major League Hacking. Can we have the slides? Your best place for getting the slides is by looking at the YouTube. But yeah, we'll be sharing a load of slides and stuff during the hackathon as well. So stay tuned for that once we have Discord set up. Wonderful. Any other questions from the crowd? Ken, any last words you want to mention about the hackathon?
No, just super excited. Yeah, look forward to seeing all of you there, and thank you all for joining this session.
Awesome. Way's got a wonderful final question here for us. Will the next steps be communicated over email? Absolutely. If you have already signed up to the hackathon, we'll be sending you some information kind of running up to it on how you can get started with Near, what you need to know for the weekend, all that good stuff. So make sure you're signed up, and we'll be getting more information to you over the next 2 weeks. But I think we'll call it there. Someone actually, one very last question. Can this hackathon be done solo? If we don't find a team, Rosendo, can we do it solo?
I mean, you could attempt to do the hackathon solo. We would probably we would take it under consideration, but it's more optimal that you would have a team built around the project that you submit.
And if you don't find a team, we do have team building opportunities at the event. So don't stress if you can't find someone beforehand. You might be able to meet some new people at the event itself. But yeah, I believe that is all for today, folks. Again, super excited for this new program and hackathon that we've got combined here. First time we've done a hackathon and a fellowship together. So super excited to see that. If you're excited, let us know in the chat. But we'll see you all hopefully at the Web3 Build Hackathon in just 2 weeks' time. Thanks, folks. Happy hacking.
Thanks.